Hey Libra, welcome to Morning Air Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be your April 2018 love reading. I've reflected on your energy. I've laid out your spread with your energy coming into April, your past, present, future, and then your energy heading out into May. So last month you guys were dealing with somebody that you were trying to rid yourself of. For some of you, this was a really kind of I don't know that I would say combative, but it could have been, but a more so very strong personality that you were kind of wishy-washy about. Like you didn't know, I think it felt something that it wasn't. And I feel like on reflecting on your cards, I feel like you guys are still experiencing that, and energy is fluid, so it could be pertaining to any point of your life then or now. So coming into April, we have the Emperor in reversed. So this is kind of a little bit of impulsiveness or making quick irrational decisions or feeling very imbalanced. So for many of you, it could be that whatever situation you find yourself in at this present moment, it has you like weak in a sense, like mentally, like you're not able to see clearly in regards to this person, or your brain is working overtime in like a scenario based way. And I do this all the time myself. Like think of every possible scenario and drive yourself absolutely insane. So that kind of like, well, what if this happens? And well, what if they say this? Like this kind of impulsive, intrusive thoughts that may be affecting you guys about a particular person. So in the past, we have the Strength card in the upright, followed by the Seven of Rods in the upright, followed by the Two of Cups in reversed. So for many of you, you could have been dealing with a Leo for sure. I feel like I get the impression that this person kind of wanted, well, this person could have been exactly how, they could have composed themselves exactly how a favorable partner would be for you. So like they fit all of the molds and the criteria, and they were the face of this idea of love that you had always envisioned yourself having. And so you saw them in this really great strength light. You saw them in this very composed and very strong and very beautiful or handsome. And then it was like, in a sense, it could have been a kind of egotistical type of situation where this person was trying to get you to prove if you were really into them and like how far you would go, kind of. And so I think you were put in a situation with the Seven of Rods that you were feeling like you had to defend yourself against this person, or coming to terms with the thoughts that perhaps something had happened where you realized this person's true colors, right? Like you had seen that they weren't this embodiment of perfection that they lead people on to believe, that they actually do have these flaws. I also feel like this could be a challenge with communication. Perhaps some of you guys weren't communicating, and you kind of were like distancing yourself from them, or they were distancing themselves from you. And perhaps it was taking the strength of you to be able to not feel as though, because you're on this higher pedestal, right? So it's like all of these people below are trying to knock this person off the ledge, but you've always had the higher ground. So it could have been that you wanted to keep this part of you, right? Like be able to maintain that level that you had where you wouldn't stoop to hear. Even if it was a miscommunication and maybe you guys weren't speaking and they had shown you certain signs that like gaslighting in a way, right? So saying like tricking you into thinking something is one way and it's really another way, or kind of like spinning things on its axis to make it seem like, well, that's crazy that you would have thought that. Like, that's the kind of feeling I get about this. And with that, I don't know that you and I really feel like a Leo here. Because then we have the Sun card in your present, but there is the Leo, there is the Lion here in this card as well. So at one point, I definitely believe you were in the Two of Cups in the upright. And you were in love and you felt like this person was your soulmate, and it was like you met this person and it was like, wow, like I can't believe that I met someone who's so similar to me and I really enjoy their company, and just this instant connection, right? And then it was like all of the sudden how this person could like flip a switch and they're completely different. And so you lost a lot of trust and a lot of faith, and you're not chasers. Like, you inherently are not chasers. Like, if somebody wants to play the game that they're gonna make you prove how much you love them, or they're not speaking to you and expect you to take the first approach, like, that's not you. You know, you may not have even been aware up until, you know, recently that this person was kind of like that. You could have been totally still under the impression that, like, they were this really great person. It could also be that you have other people putting in their 2 cents into the situation. Perhaps you're dealing with people that know this individual on a different level. And it could be that, you know, you're fighting back their version of who this person is. And in some way, shape, or form, it's kind of transforming your emotions about them. But I do believe, nonetheless, that, you know, in some ways you guys were misled, and it's never easy to be in a situation like that, for sure. In our present moment, we have the Sun card in the upright, followed by the Knight of Pentacles in the upright, followed by the Seven of Cups. Okay. So in the present moment, everything is going great for you guys. I think you feel good. I think you feel happy again. The white horse is kind of like a sense of innocence. So perhaps you're letting bygones be bygones, and you're not really getting yourself too shooken by the whole thing. You guys could have an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, with this Knight of Pentacles in your life or coming into your life. The Knight, though, truly wants to offer stability, but he's not the king yet. So there's still learning that needs to be done. And so it could be that for some of you, I could see this in a couple of ways. So for some of you, it could be that perhaps some of you guys are already in a committed relationship, right? So it's like you meet somebody and you're like, wow, they're everything I couldn't even imagine. And then because you know that this person, this Knight of Pentacles, or whoever this applies to, it's a general reading, but in your life, still has a lot of work to be done. And it was like you met somebody who you thought they had it all going on, right? They had everything figured out. And so a part of this too is the Knight of Pentacles can also be a little bit playerish. So it could be that, like, perhaps you were feeling estranged from a partner that you had and not pursuing, but like the way life would have it, you just met somebody who was like all, at first, all into you, right? Like wanting to get to know you, wanting to know all of the things about you, and then flip that switch on you. And it could be that you realize that this person, although this person that you were with didn't have everything figured out, and they still were trying to struggle with their independence and trying to figure out, like, do I want this commitment with you? Do I not? That this is like the safer person, right? I could also see this too, that if this is the same person that you guys were dealing with in the past, because I do always feel like this is a little bit playerish, that this person is not ready to settle down, that they might have had ulterior motives, that it wasn't as complex and deep as you may have felt it was. But that's okay, because like you are in this position now where I think you've illuminated the fact that it wasn't what you truly wanted. And so you're coming in with the 7 of Cups because you don't wait for anybody, and nobody tells you, what they're going to do on their terms. Like, that's not how you roll. You don't wait to be a victim for somebody. You don't wait for somebody to make you feel so special and so important that they're spending time with you. That's not the way Libras are. So the 7 of Cups, you guys are definitely utilizing, a lot of your capabilities and a lot of your really special attributes to make things possible for yourself. And these two combined, I mean, this is just really, really fantastic for you right now in the present moment. Being able to keep yourself busy and being able to have so many different rings in the hats that you're not so focused on this situation right now. Like, I feel like you're progressing forward and you're like, it is what it is. And I do believe that in some parts of you certainly do feel like, well, shoulda, coulda, woulda, or what could have been, or especially with, the 2 of Cups, because this at one point definitely was upright. But I don't know that this person, I don't know whoever this person was in the past, like, brought out the best in you. I think it was just like a come in really quick and die really just as fast type of feel. And so for those of you that are, single at this point, and you had been dealing with this in the past. And then for those of you that are done and over with this person, and this is somebody new coming into your life, like, you're certainly utilizing all of your capacity in order to achieve the stability that you never had with this person in the past. And if this is the person, if you guys were committed and this was like a third party situation and this was your true partner, I think you guys are also realizing that you can make anything out of any relationship. You can't force people to be a certain way, but you can always work your hardest on a relationship to improve it, to better it, to understand each other. And so if you were dealing with a person who was kind of like on the fence about things, although very stable and very logical and definitely wanting commitment, they weren't there yet. Like, they were still a knight, they are still, they have a lot that they need to learn about life and about love and about you. And so you, I think, are in a different place right now where you're able to see that, because you know that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and sometimes, we enter relationships envisioning this like movie, right? Or this, a scenario where it's like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt meeting on the set, falling miserably in love, and everything is fine and dandy, and they're still together, and all these different things. And it's like, yeah, that, who doesn't want that type of crazy, passionate love? But I think looking at this logically as an air sign, especially being able to say, okay, well, although that sounds great and fantastic and magical, I have to put work in. It doesn't just happen, right? So for in the future, we have the Ace of Swords, followed by the 4 of Pentacles, followed by the 10 of Rods. Okay. All right. Ace of Swords in reverse. So somebody is putting up obstacles for somebody else to make it difficult to reach them. And I think that's you, Libra, and I think that's you with the past person. I think you're probably like, here's how I feel. I feel like right now, as I'm reading this, I feel like you still really care about this person from the past. regardless of whether you're in a relationship now, you just met somebody now, this was a third party situation. I'm really feeling that you guys for some of you too, it could be a work situation. Definitely could be somebody that you met at work. But it's one of those things. It's like you do, but you don't. You do, but you don't. But in the future, again, I feel like you in this moment now are pushing onward, realizing the grass isn't greener on the other side. I don't know that there was closure with this person in the past. I don't know if communication just completely stopped and ended and it was like, I don't even fucking know what happened. Write me some comments, guys. I'm interested in this. So, the Ace of Swords in reverse, somebody's putting up obstacles, challenges for somebody to get in touch with somebody else. Perhaps some of you guys could have been blocking somebody, or you decided that, yeah, no communication from this point on is happening. Could be a situation too for those of you that might be in a third party situation, like knowing that it's wrong, feeling that it's wrong, knowing instinctually that you'd never have the life that you want to have with this particular person being in your life. It's like the forbidden fruit, right? So knowing that you'll never have what you want with this person, and at the same time wanting nothing more than that person. And in a sense too, for those of you that never got that clarity or that completion of what this was about, because I think you guys, if somebody is being a shady asshole to you, y'all are like, bye, done, like communication cut, and you have no issues like that. All air signs are like that. I'm like that too. I have no issue cutting off communication with somebody. I don't even need to tell you why. We literally just stop communicating, and it's not good. I'm not saying it's a great way to handle things, for sure. Everything should be, communicated at some point or another. But if you are dealing with this type of person that you were led so deep into this rabbit hole that you believe they were somebody that they weren't, and then you realize the only way to move past it is to stop the communication. But you still think of this person every now and again. Like, you still think like, well, what did happen? You don't have the answers to that. So if you guys were friends on social media, or you guys were communicating at one point and then it kind of ended, like now you're solidifying the fact that it's going to end. You may be blocking them, and or you may just be putting on resting bitch face so this person does not come over to you, approach you, that they get the signal that you're not interested anymore. Even if a part of you is like, I do miss this person, you're not going to allow yourself to be like, no one tells you no. No one says like, I'll talk to you when I feel like it, or like, how much do you really want to be with me, and all this shit. Like, that's not how you roll. And so with the Four of Pentacles in the upright, you guys are working very hard to preserve what you have. And if that's the current relationship that you're in, or the one that you just started, you're not wanting to let that go. And it could be the Ten of Rods in the upright, feeling this burden regarding thinking still about the past, feeling heavy about not having the answers that you require, as a person that's growing, to want to move on, because maybe you never got straight on what that is. But I think in the back of your mind, you knew that it wasn't going to work. And it's a dead end road with this person. So there's a lot of different scenarios in here I can see for coupled people, for potential third party, for people that are now newly single, obviously, from this situation. For those of you that have just met somebody, this to me indicates the past, though. I don't feel like I don't feel like you're cutting out this new person. I do feel like if you have just met somebody new, that you are really trying to work on it. You're trying to preserve it and keep it. I believe this is the past, making it very difficult for somebody to try to gaslight you again, try to play you for a fool again, try to embarrass you again. But not having that clarity, not having that understanding, not really being able to decipher like what really did happen. I have no clue. Like, this person switched on me, made me believe that they were all this in a bag of chips, and they were the perfect partner, and so I thought, and it was like you were envisioning like changing your life, and so now it's like you just have no sense of what it even is, and you're carrying this burden around, probably wondering, what the hell is that person thinking? If I'm thinking this, what are they thinking? And so heading into, and I don't want you guys to be like, oh, this is terrible, this shit's cray. It's not. You're coming into May with the 10 of Swords in the upright, and then I clarified that, and I got the 4 of Rods in the reversed. I don't hate it. Don't hate it at all, because I feel this back and forth. And I don't know if it's just the way that this like retrograde is working right now, but I feel it so heavily myself too. I keep thinking about the past. I keep thinking about situations I can't change. I keep thinking about me not being able to like forgive myself for certain things, and not, cutting off communication with people, and even though I know it's the right thing to do, and feeling like, I don't know why, like sometimes I'm like, why the hell do I feel so bad when these people probably don't give two shits about about what they do on a daily basis. And I feel like there's something in some people, and probably for many of you that are watching, who do have this intuition that it's kind of like you're able to see every dynamic of it. And I feel that way especially for air signs too. And depending on whatever else is in your chart, like air signs are very logical, but able to see every possible dynamic, every possible scenario. And that's why you guys are probably driving yourself up a goddamn wall, because you're sitting there thinking like, well, why did this happen and how did this happen? But many people don't do that, and they can't do that. And sometimes it's like, it's a blessing and a curse, because you sit there and you ponder forever and ever and ever what the fuck happened, and by the end you're just exhausted and you don't have any answers. So I do feel like this real pull back, like I was saying, like I feel like it's like this indecision part of you too. Like I don't think you're going back, you're just curious, like you're just like, what's up? And so the 10 of Swords in the upright is the final part of this experience in your life. There's not anything else that can fit on this person's back. Like, you've gone through the ringer, like you've already realized and come to terms that you need to progress and move on. And with this 4 of Rods in the reversed, I think you at this point right now, because I really did need to clarify this, and this is saying your expectations or what you may have hoped for didn't pan out that way, but it didn't pan out that way for a reason. Especially if you guys are dealing with somebody in a third-party situation, or you were dealing with somebody who was, very egotistical and really trying to come at you kind of like aggressively, or challenge you and try to pull the same tricks that they've pulled on other people before. And that's kind of you just coming to terms, like realizing as you're heading into May that you're so much stronger than this, right? Like you're so much better than this situation. And if anything, and this is a new person coming into your life, like don't forget where you're at in the present moment. Because in the present moment, you've got either this new love that's coming in, or you've had somebody there who's ready to really get serious with you. And so it's time for you to focus on that and leave this past behind. Even if you feel like it didn't die the way that you wanted it to die, where you could be either really pissed off and close the door forever, or, both come to a mutual understanding. It's like a gray area. You don't know what happened, right? So, but I do know that you don't want to overexert yourself in energy that's not necessary, especially this overthinking. You're wanting to preserve. This could even be you in the present moment, creating a challenge and blockage. For those of you that are single and you're not wanting to, and this is across the board, but for those of you that aren't seeing somebody right now, maybe some of you don't want anything to do with a partner right now, and you're creating obstacles to be able to keep your shit intact and for people not to mess with you until you're fully healed and until you're okay. And you're carrying all of these thoughts, but you're definitely holding on to what's most important to you right now. And that's you. That's definitely you. And it's okay to admit failure. It's okay to look at a situation and not be able to have control over it. That's just the way the world is. We don't have control over every single thing that we do, or other people. That's just how life is. And so these things happen for a reason. And again, if this was a third-party situation, and or you were just dealing with somebody who was this type of, made you feel this way, right? Made you feel empty inside and made you feel sad and question everything and come into the month feeling like this, they're not worth it. And it wouldn't have worked out anyway, because they just seem like a very unhealthy, needy person. And y'all know more than God that you need your independence, right? Like, you guys need to be able to have your security in a relationship, but need to be able to trust that person for sure. And I don't know that you guys could have ever been able to trust this person, especially if somebody is making you, acting like they can be one way and then they're completely something else. But I do feel like you guys are going to have a great month, because in the present moment, you guys are feeling so great. And it's like you're going to carry that energy on into the future, because you're utilizing this passion, this drive, this creativity, these cups that are filled with all of these different emotions and different things of importance in your life to keep yourself busy. And then you're realizing, you need to preserve you, or you need to preserve the relationship that's right for you. And so you're not surprised by any of this by any means. You're not surprised at all. I mean, you probably knew before they knew that it wasn't going to work out and that it was going to be in the shitter. But don't look at this 10 of Swords and say to yourself, wow, I'm going to have a terrible month of May. That's absolutely not true. Not true. This is the ending of the pain. This is the completion of the pain, because you finally realize at this point with the past that this person is not who they say they are. They're never going to be the person that they say they are. And it wasn't meant to be. And the higher ups had your back on that. So, Libra, that was your April 2018 love reading. Love you guys, and I'll see you next month. Bye.